I'm going to call the town commission meeting for October 13th to order. Please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sal.
Father God, thank you for entrusting us with your town. I ask that you give us your wisdom and discernment to lead your town, make the decisions best for our town citizens. May we honor you in everything we say this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner McMullen. He's here.
Hello.
Commissioner Polland.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Vice Mayor Satterfield.
Present.
Mayor Starks. Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Has there been any ex parte communication?
No, ma'am.
So I have two proclamations. The first one is Town of Oakland Blind Americans Equality Day. Whereas by joint resolution approved on October 6, 1964, Congress designated October 15th of each year as White Cane Safety Day to recognize the contributions of Americans who are blind or have impaired vision. And whereas it is important that all residents in the town of Oakland that are blind or visually impaired have the opportunity to live active, independent lives. And whereas approximately 32,000 residents in Central Florida are blind or visually impaired. And whereas for Floridians who are blind or visually impaired, the white cane is an important tool for self-reliance or full participation and inclusion in our society. And whereas the use of white canes, dog guides, and public and private transportation programs have ensured Floridians who are blind or visually impaired can travel efficiently and safely, breaking down barriers to success and independence. Whereas in 2011, White Cane Safety Day was named Blind Americans Equality Day by President Barack Obama. Whereas this proclamation called upon public officials, business and community leaders, educators, librarians, and Americans across the country to observe this day with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments and contributions of blind and visually impaired Americans. Whereas we recommit to forging ahead with the work of perfecting our union and ensuring we remain a nation where all our people, including those living with disabilities, have every opportunity to achieve their dreams. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Stark, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the town of Oakland, Florida, on behalf of the entire commission, proclaim October 15th, American or Blind Americans Equality Day. All right. Is there anyone here representing?
That was recommended by MetroPlan.
Okay,
And so we'll send them a copy.
of course. All right, one more. You get to listen to me drone on for one more. The Town of Oakland, Florida City Government Week. Whereas municipal government is the government closest to most citizens and the one that most directly impacts upon our residents. And whereas municipal government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for residents making their town their home. And whereas municipal government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment and understanding of its many responsibilities. And whereas municipal government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along their understanding of public services and their benefits. Whereas Florida City Government Week offers an important opportunity for elected officials and staff to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they can shape and influence this branch of government. And whereas the Florida League of Cities and its member municipalities have joined together to teach students and other citizens about municipal government through a variety of activities, they are now be it resolved by the town of Oakland as follows, that the town of Oakland encourages all citizens, town government officials, and employees to do everything possible to ensure this week is recognized and celebrated accordingly. That the town of Oakland encourages educational partnerships between the town, government, and schools, as well as civic groups and other organizations. That the town of Oakland supports and encourages all city governments to actively promote and sponsor Florida City Government Week. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Stark, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the town of Oakland, Florida, and on behalf of the entire commission, and do by proclaim October 19th through the 25th, 2020 as Florida City Government Week. And very good. And I truly believe that government closest to the citizens is the most effective. I think that is a truly expressed sentiment. All right. And I'm sorry I didn't grab what's next on the agenda, but thank you, Mike.
I got one right here, Kathy.
I didn't get my computer fired up. We have a consent agenda. And,
Public forum for.
oh, public forum, sorry.
An extra copy.
Thank you. No problem. We have public forum. Anyone who is here that wishes to speak on a subject that is not on the agenda, we ask that you keep your comments brief and that you come up to the podium and let us know who you are. Donna?
Hi, this is just real quick. My name is Donna Reed. I live at 100 Vandermeer, lived here many, many years. So there is an issue in my subdivision that I think is being worked on, but I just wanted to bring it back to an open forum. Our street signs are not correct, or the town is not correct, or the post office is not correct, or
Somebody is not correct.
For 20-something years, we've been trying to figure out if we're a street or an avenue. And I know it kind of sounds menial, except for the fact that we constantly have an issue with packages being delivered or people finding our addresses. So, and I think it's our whole subdivision, to be honest with you, at least the streets that run east and west. And it is a street by virtue of the tax people in Orange County or whoever handles our, sending us out the money that we owe every year. Tax notices.
They got it right.
But the street signs say Avenue.
Okay.
So can somebody please, I know it's a cost involved in that, but we've been talking about this for 23 years that I've lived there.
There's been some emails going around. Mike Ragsdale weighed in on this also, and
Okay.
Mike's got a request to order some signs.
Okay, so I think this is just a matter of changing the signs because then it might.
As long as the plat and
Yeah.
everybody else has the right stuff, then fine.
It doesn't matter to me if it's an avenue or a street. I don't really care. I just like for people to be able to get to my house if they.
Yeah. Yes,
Or
ma'am.
maybe it's good that it's not because then I don't have to worry about anybody.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Mike got the request today, and
Okay.
we'll get some signs ordered.
Okay,
I don't even know if did I know that?
it's just one of those things that I've talked about over the years.
Didn't know that.
Let it go because nothing really ever happened. So thank goodness something's happened.
We'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
I think if that works, Donna, can I have the Avenue sign? I'm gonna put it up over on Danielson.
No, because if anybody gets it, I lived there the longest. You can have a souvenir.
I meant not to get the stuff delivered. It's.
And I found my agenda. Oh, do we have a hand raised?
All done.
Nope, we're good?
No hands are raised.
All right, so anybody else for public agenda forum? All right. Now we will go to the consent agenda. So does anybody at the table or Joseph have anything they want to pull out, ask questions about on the consent agenda? Nope. Okay, I need a motion, please.
I'll make the motion to approve full consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment? Any hands raised? Nope. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Other policy matters, Healthy West Orange Arts and Heritage Center opening discussion.
All right, this is really just an open conversation. I'm going to give a quick update on the Arts and Heritage Center, and then just kind of wanted to have a little bit of discussion and kind of get a feel for expectations as far as opening the building. So just to give a few updates on what's going on. The interior gallery is nearly complete. Alicia's been working on that. They are filling the last case with some things. The coordinator position for the building has been advertised. It closed last week. They are going to start interviews later this week on that position, which is a key position. Healthy West Orange has hired a PR person, and so we'll be coordinating messaging with them. You know, we've already been doing quite a bit of messaging for the building.
Cool.
Orange County Parks, let's see, if we do any kind of a grand opening, Orange County Parks said they would not attend. And so we're really just kind of in a holding pattern with doing any kind of major opening where we have a crowd. I don't think anybody's really doing those. Orange County Parks, essentially, they've had a few things open here recently and they're not doing any kind of.
So it's just because,
Yeah, because of the COVID.
not because.
So it has to
had
do with
us.
COVID, and you know, we did have an opportunity that we thought the board for Healthy West Orange was going to be out here, but they decided to do virtual meetings and didn't want to, you know. So it's kind of a difficult situation as far as doing some kind of grand opening event. So I'm thinking we're probably still looking at something like in the spring to do that. One of the things that's hanging is we're working on signage. And Jim Riffle came out, they did the signs on the building, which looked beautiful, but they've gotten real busy. And so we're having a hard time getting the other signs. We've got a couple of Healthy West Orange signs, Arts and Cultural Affairs, Orange County Parks. There's some signs that we need to do for them. So we're waiting on those, as well as the bronze plaque that's gonna go on the building. So those are things that are in process right now. We've got some signs that we're required to do with Healthy West Orange, some additional things they are designing. Alicia's meeting with them later in the week regarding those signs, but we've been working with them. The Wesley statue is actually already been done. It's being powder coated and will be delivered fairly soon. And that's going to go in one of the second reflecting pond where the herb garden's going to go. So we'll have a Wesley statue in there. And we've done that in conjunction with Healthy West Orange also. There's a couple of interior plaques that are also being done, both for Gunster for the hanging system and for the glass, the stained glass. Those are going to be ordered tomorrow. Alicia's been in contact with Gunster on theirs, and those will be ordered tomorrow, so we'll have those to put up. I've been meaning to ask you, where are we at with the stained glass window and getting it mounted? Is that?
Yeah, I think we'll have it mounted this week. I had to manufacture some devices to hook it to the wall.
Okay.
And those have been delivered. And then we hired a contractor to build a frame around it, which he's backed out. So now we got another contractor on board.
So, so those are a few of the things that are going on. We're getting ready to close out the contract with Ovation on the construction. Mike's got two last items that they need to give us some manuals and train us on the lighting system. And then we'll be doing the final check with them on the retainage and closing that out, which then kicks us into the opportunity to start requesting our reimbursements from both Orange County and from Healthy West Orange. So we'll be working on those when I get back from vacation after we cut that last check. So that's a big part of it. And then just on a side note, the bathrooms, I think, have been going fairly well with
That was going to be a question, so that's good.
I don't think we've had any major problems with the bathrooms, people keeping them clean, and we just need to, the next step would be to expand those hours. We've got daylight savings time coming up, I think, unless that changes. That might be a good point where we,
November 1st.
yeah, I believe it.
Sometimes the 30th, the same night as Halloween.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a
November
discussion about extending it, so, but that might be a good point for us to then kind of extend our hours and start working on that.
I personally would like to see a new sign, A-frame. I know that, we're leaving that up because it's temporary hours. But, eventually we'll have a permanent sign or something different.
Yeah, there'll be a sign with Orange County Parks in the bathroom, but yeah. I don't know that we were planning on a sign with the hours, but we can put something up.
Well, you've got that A-frame out there.
Yeah, I was just
But
letting
that-
people know that it was open,
Yeah.
so if we need to take that down, we can do that.
I would. That would be my preference, but, there's other people here at the table.
That's fine.
I would take-
Yeah, that was just to let people know that it was open so they could start using it. So the discussion becomes, and really there's two things. We've got this building and rentals, going back to renting out this building, and then the opening for the Arts and Heritage Center and what kind of expectations. So the Heritage Foundation has, I believe, started opening again on Fridays from 11 to 3. So like I said, we got a few last detail things that we need to get done with the building, and it really just comes down to signage and stuff, and then getting the coordinator hired. But my suggestion would be to start with 1 day a week, and then also maybe open it up to possibly appointments, both residents and some of these dignitaries to come through if they can't come through on a Friday when we're open.
Mhm.
It's just as a point of when do we want to do it, like before we get some of this other things finished up, or do we want to set like a December 1st date and start opening up on Fridays in December? So I'm really just looking for expectations and what the commission, you kind of know where we're at. I mean, as far as just really a few detailed things left as far as opening.
Okay, of course, I have an opinion. I would like it to be completely ready before we open it up, especially to people who have, so graciously donated to us. And I would like clear communication to those who have donated to us, what their options are until we can have a real grand opening. If you would like to come and tour the building, it could only be this many people, so on and so forth. And I leave all of that up to you. But I don't want to open it until it's completely, and I'm not talking about the concession, I'm talking just about the building.
All right.
That's my opinion.
And I agree, it should all be done. More than likely, we probably have that all done by December 1st, I would.
Yeah, that's kind of just a target, but
Mikey, I'm sorry, you're in charge of this one.
No, we're all in charge of this one, so it's not, we obviously can't do any type of opening with it until we get the coordinator hired. So it really kind of pivots on that, because we can't just stop what we're doing, staff, and then meet people over there to do it. So if we don't have anybody there,
right.
that would be the only real stopping point. So that would be probably as quick as we can get that would dictate it. But I think 1 day a week, maybe graduating to 2, maybe after the first of the year, that let us get our feet wet with it, and then do it by appointment, maybe until another month or so. So we kind of work our way into it, and we get ourselves to routine.
Okay.
That's kind of what I would think.
So essentially, we need to make sure and get these signs done, get these last few items done, and then December 1st sounds like a good target. Maybe we can do it a little bit before that, but basically get the person on board, get these last details done, and then get it open 1 day a week, and then offer it up for appointments for people to come other days.
And very clear communication, because I have no idea how many questions I get a week about this.
Oh, I'm sure. Commissioner McMullen, do you have any comments? Want to make sure.
Everything that's being said, sounds great. Just to echo the mayor, I definitely want to make sure that it's completely done on the inside. I don't know why the mayor's putting a mask on while I'm talking, seeing that I'm on the computer, but we'll talk about that another day. But I think as long as it's completed on the inside, that's the biggest piece. I saw you, Mayor. I saw you.
Try to keep it on, but I'm just bad at it. It wasn't you.
It seemed like when I started talking, I saw the mask go up, but.
No, if it was you, it'd be over my glasses.
She looked at me, and she said, "Watch this," I swear.
I saw all the body language. But yeah, that's how I feel, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But just quick question, Steve. What did Healthy West Orange, what type of position did they hire, you said?
They hired a public relations.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, they hired a PR person. So they've got somebody that we can now work with on co-messaging and getting things out. So, and same thing with this building. So we've been talking back and forth as staff. And so one of the things I'm going to do is watch the infection rates really closely over the next
Starting to creep up.
and they are. And the idea was also December timeframe to open. We've put together a COVID clause that we've included in our rental agreement now. And the idea would be to open this up to groups of 50 or less, and back-to-back events. They would be, maybe we'd limit it to 2 events a weekend so that we'd have time in between to clean it. Where we have an Aeroclave disinfector on order that we're waiting to get in, that we should be getting in fairly soon. And once we get that, it gives us the ability to quickly, disinfect the space. And so if you're all right with that, we're gonna target based on infection rates. If they hold steady and we don't have a big spike, starting to slowly open this building back up for rentals again, 50 or less, and no back-to-back events. Just as long as we can have some time in between to be able to clean it.
Are other people doing stuff like that?
Yeah, they are. I believe Windermere, if they haven't already, they're getting ready to open theirs. There was another venue that's a similar size. As of September, in Windermere, as of September, they're letting events that were already booked take place with the following conditions. They must limit their guest count to 50 or fewer and submit a plan with their precautions. And then one of the places of a similar size, Indian River Shores, has been open since September 1st.
Okay.
So, with the governor movers into phase 3, I think a lot of people have started. And the last thing is I'm looking at our town lobby the same way. If infection rates stay down, we'll probably open up the lobby sometime during November. We're going to limit the capacity to 2 people at a time and start letting people in the building as far as the lobby space. So if that sounds good, then, just to recap, we'll get the building finished, come up with a plan to open in 1 day a week, and work on doing appointments. So with a target of mid-November to December 1st, somewhere in that time frame, so we can get these signs done and get everything complete. The building here, we'll look at December 1st, as long as infection rates stay constant and we don't have any big spikes. We'll look at starting rentals again here in December, and then the lobby the same way. Sometime probably mid-November, we'll open up the lobby again.
What would be the max for the Healthy West Orange Arts and Heritage?
As far as people in the building, I think we're probably going to want to limit it to like 5 or 10.
Yeah, we're shooting for 10 at a time.
10 at a time?
There's enough space in there that people can spread out, and as long as you're wearing masks, we'll have the same kind of masks and sanitizer in the building and things, encouraging people to wear masks. So.
What did you say, not back to back in this building? Is that like 24-hour turnaround, or?
We'll have to kind of determine that, but we don't want to have somebody here on a Friday night and then here at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. So we want to, it could be Friday night and Sunday afternoon, or Saturday night and Sunday night, or just as long as we have time to come in between events.
Give you a day to clean.
Yeah. So, it could be a Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon. We just need to kind of make sure we're scheduling time in between events to be able to clean it, and just maybe limit it to 2 per weekend until we get to a little further along.
Good with it.
Yeah, that all sounds good to me. I'm going back to Heritage Center for 1 second.
Absolutely.
It's probably not a good thing for you guys that I can see it from my back porch. But the lighting from day to day changes. The lighting at night. Sometimes it's lit up and it's gorgeous. And then sometimes it's dark.
I'll look into that.
Okay.
It's on a timer. It should be coming on with a regular routine.
And, it is beautiful. If we could have it lit up for, a specific period at night, it is just gorgeous.
That is one of the last few punch list things that Mike's going to have them come out and train us on the lighting, because
Okay.
they've set something up in there and it doesn't quite make sense what they've got going.
Okay,
That is one of the last things that we're working on to be complete.
okay.
Cool.
So that's all I've got. So we'll move forward on those things, and I'll report again, probably in November, and let you know how things are going.
As long as if people are clearly communicated to, I think that's the key.
Well, once we have a plan and we've got some set dates, then Alicia's really great with getting that information out to people.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So we're ready to move on to resolutions? Okay. And Donna, if we're boring you to death, you're free to go. We let people go once they've talked.
Won't get no sign, but go ahead.
And Val, I think you're here, are you here on business or you just want to be here?
Just here.
Okay. All right. Well,
We're not purposely torturing her.
pardon?
We're not purposely torturing her.
Yeah, right now anyway.
Hello, Mayor.
So,
Yes, Joseph.
Can I ask Steve a question since we're on the, I don't want to hold up at the end of the meeting? Jim Gordon was asking about the door again, Steve.
I know, things happened that week that I was supposed to get over there, and
Yeah, he
I need to
knows.
get back with him on looking at that door.
Okay,
I'll be out on vacation tomorrow, but I can have Mike and Alicia go over and look at it this week or next week.
yeah, because he brought up again on our Tuesday breakfast. So
I totally apologize. I told him I'd get back with him, and I had a bunch of stuff happen and we didn't make it over there.
Okay.
See, and Joseph, see? I took my mask off.
Who's about to talk next?
He put his on.
Can you pick it up a little further, Joseph?
I think that's Nancy, so she might take it personally. Okay, we're gonna move on to resolutions.
Taking it on.
Resolution 2020-10.
Thank you, Mayor. A resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, to authorize town staff to place signs in front of the post office regarding parking and providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
All right, I'll explain this real quick. And it was in the agenda, a picture of what the sign will look like. This came up with a coffee with the manager discussion about having people that want to use the trail parking in front of the post office, and then people not being able to get easy access to the post office to get their mail and do their business. So we put together signs, and we're not going to be punitive with this resolution, but it needed to be official. But we put together signs to put in front of the post office that there's a few spots that are right there in front of the post office. Reserve parking, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. so people can get in and out of the post office fairly easily. We do have quite a bit of parking there in the circle. There's plenty of parking generally for people that want to use the trail. We just want to discourage them from parking right in front of the post office. So at this point, parking's not an issue. There are spots that people can use. We just want to discourage the trail users from being in front. And the day after they talked about it, the next day I coming into work, there were 3 people parked there taking their bikes off they were in front of the post office taking their bikes off. So I can see where it could be a problem, on some days. So well, if the commission approves this, we'll install these signs and have them in front of the post office. It's just, I think it's just good customer service as far as that goes.
You know, I agree with the sign, but listening to it, I'm wondering, is there any type of a tent sign that they could take in and put back so we just don't have signs posted all over the place? Would something like that work?
Possibly. It would just be a matter of, who would be picking it up and putting it out. I've already spoke with the postmaster about this. He thinks it's a great idea.
I do too, Mike.
And these are the smaller signs, so they shouldn't be too intrusive.
I just don't want to make extra work for people.
I don't want to make work, but I don't want everywhere we look now, we got a sign for this and sign for that. That would.
We actually took.
How many signs are we talking about?
2 or 3.
Yeah, they're green and.
There it is, right there.
That's what they'll look like.
I know, I saw that, but are they gonna be right in front of the parking spot or like in the grass across the sidewalk?
Grass. We did take down, I think the sign that was over across from Town Hall, we did take down a sign, so we took one down and we're adding a couple over there, so.
Well, you would have to put it on this side too, right?
It'll be on the west side parking and on the south side by the handicap. That's where we're planning to put them.
Yeah. It was just a thought, having one that was mobile was all, but we can't.
Do we have,
I agree with having a sign to keep people. It's a great idea.
do we have official parking at the Healthy West Orange Arts and Heritage
No.
Center?
What we did is it used to say business parking on those ones that you can only park there for town business. We took that sign away so people can park in those slots for the Healthy West Orange. We do have some staff that park there, and eventually, once things get rolling, we'll have to move the staff further out in the parking lot.
What about on the west side, directly south of the Arts and Heritage, along that wood?
We haven't gone through and designated any of that for parking yet, and I think that's probably a bigger discussion we need to have. So as things get busier, we'll need to talk about eventually what kind of parking we want to have. So right now, with what we've got going on, the angled parking right there by the trail and the center, and the other parking that's there should be sufficient. But again, I do feel like things are going to get busier, so we can have a bigger discussion as we talk about other things as far as more parking.
Steve, if I may, all of our grant applications and that went in and it tied the town center parking for the building, and then at a future date, possibly some on Petrus. So that's what we've said all along, which is what Steve said.
But I think we need to have a bigger discussion on the parking on Petrus and the future of what that area is going to look like. And I do intend to have a bigger conversation on that. And then we can kind of decide, what's palatable to everybody as far as parking.
Okay.
So I need a motion, and I guess we'll include whether they're going to be permanently affixed or taken in and out. However you guys, up or
We
down.
probably don't even have to include that, just
Oh,
authorize the
you're good?
sign and then they
Okay.
can discuss with the post office themselves, what they think would be best. I would think.
Okay, that's
That
fine
was
with me.
just my opinion, so and it might not be shared, but it's just,
And I have the same opinion.
Yep.
I didn't want to see so many signs out here.
Yeah, you hate it when you get to a place where it's like there's a rule for everything.
I completely understand. I just, as far as, customer service and being friendly to the residents and the post office, I think we need to have something that designates that as business only during the day.
And there's people, you got to walk out of there with, sometimes you've got your arms full of packages.
Yeah.
I think
It needs
it's
to be.
appropriate.
It needs to be for the post office, so. All right, I'll make the motion that we accept resolution 2010,
I'll second it.
20-10.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Any from the audience? Remotely?
Mayor, I see no hands.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll bring it back to the table. All in favor? Aye. All right, the resolution 2020-11.
A resolution of the Town of Oakland, Florida, amending Resolution 2013-11 to pause the water rate indexing set for October 2020 and providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
All right, in working with Raftellus, as they're doing a water rate study, we had them also look at where we currently stand with the utility system. And, you know, by ordinance, the town indexes our water rates from year to year based off a pricing index, a utility pricing index. But generally it goes up 1.5% to 2% on an annual basis. And what it does is it allows revenues and expenses to stay in line, because over time your expenses are always increasing. And if you don't increase your revenues to go along with that, then you do these big rate hikes down the road. And we don't really we want to keep things in line and do it a little bit incrementally. But we've had a surge of new customers, and our expenses have been fairly steady for the last year. So it was an opportunity to pause for a single year, and we do have infrastructure needs and other things that these water rates also pay for. But it was an opportunity, especially with the economy the way it is and the COVID crisis, to pause that rate increase for a year and save the residents a little bit of money on their water bills. So that's what this resolution is doing. It's just pauses it for 1 year, and next year it would go back into effect. It wouldn't compound, it would just be whatever the rate increase would be for next year.
I think that's awesome.
So too.
That's great.
We can give residents a break and not, you know, and it's not going to hit them next year,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
So, and we should be looking, and you know, I think that's a very responsible thing to do, is you look at it every year, and you know, it does go up by indexing, but if we don't have to, we don't.
Yeah, this was a good year. And like I said, just with the, you know, with our expenses being steady, and then just again, with the economy the way it is, it just seems like the right thing to do.
Joseph, do you have a comment?
That was one of the best parts of reading the agenda, I'll be honest with you, when I saw that.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. And I know Amy's on there. I really hope that, you know, she puts that in our story to let people know what we're doing. So when I saw that, yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Listen up, Amy. So, anyway, if I don't have any further comments at the table, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-11.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any comments from the audience? Do we have any comments from our virtual audience?
No hands are raised.
All right, so I'll bring it back to the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. Okay, ordinance 2020-17.
An ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, vacating an existing portion of a utility easement on lot 26 as part of a plat of Hull Island at Oakland and recorded in Plat Book 99, pages 17 through 28, Public Records of Orange County, Florida, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date.
Okay. Ordinance 2020-17, this is a request from MI Homes for lot 26. Can you skip ahead? You can keep going just so we get to the picture. This is the lot. It's actually at the cul-de-sac on the very end of Bayline Drive. Go to the next one. I think that should be the picture of the easement. MI didn't necessarily give a specific request as to why. However, the plat dedicated a 10-foot easement. Typically, we are accepting 5-foot easements. They do have letters from the utility companies that the reduction of 5 feet is not going to affect anything at this point. The overall dimensions of what they're requesting are 5 feet by about 17 feet, 16, 17 feet. So it's a very small portion to kind of cut the corner. If I had to guess an intent, which I don't really want to do, I would say that setting the home, that they want to add some appurtenance, and that appurtenance would stick into the easement, and they just want to clear it up. I don't think we have issued a permit on this one, so it may be in the design phase.
That's just if you had to guess.
That's if I had to.
But you don't really want to.
I don't really want to say this, but I'm going to.
I wasn't going there.
Yeah. Staff is recommending an approval that they have the letters from Duke, from Opca, I can't even say it, Opca Natural Gas, that there are no conflicts.
Okay.
Still retaining a 5-foot portion of that easement where it makes the turn on the corner of the lot.
So,
And staff would recommend that the board consider approval. I guess this is the first reading, so I guess you're authorizing moving to the next year.
we have any questions at the table?
Is there a sidewalk that's gonna end up going south there eventually? If there's other lots?
I cannot recall whether Bayline has sidewalk out there. Not on that side. Not on that side, but it does, that corner is cutting into what is an open space tract which flows into the stormwater.
Correct. Okay.
All right. Joseph, I can't see you, but do you have any questions?
No questions.
Oh, there you are. All right, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. Resolution 2020-1. Over there. 7.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions in the audience? Any questions from our virtual attendees?
No hands are raised.
Okay, bring it back to the table. All in favor? Aye. All right, ordinance 2020-18.
Okay. An ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, vacating an existing portion of High Springs Lane as part of a replat of Longleaf at Oakland and recorded in Plat Book 99, pages 17 through 28, public records in Orange County, Florida, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date.
I need to recuse as it relates to a family member on this particular resolution.
Okay. Do we have the paper? You have paperwork to fill out for that?
Already done.
Okay.
All right, this is a request by Open Home Company to vacate a portion of High Springs Lane. Go ahead. The size of the vacation is approximately 20 foot by 85 foot of a T section. High Springs Lane comes down as High Springs Lane, then splits into a T in front of the cemetery. As you can see here, the portion that would be vacated would be the eastern portion of it. Again, about 85 feet of it. We can go to the next. So it is leaving a portion, so the turn movements, which I guess was part of the intent of teeing that off like that, can still be made, so you can pull down, pull in, back up, and turn around, get yourself turned around. As you'll note on what is on the screen, the access to the cemetery remains. This vacation does not affect that.
So what's the purpose of doing this?
This is actually a corrective action for lot 32, which is the lot that's on the screen right now. Pulte had filed the building permit. The plot plan that they filed didn't show one 3.5 foot easement, which I guess as they were putting this down, it actually, where it's on the screen where the cantilever for the wraparound porch is on there, actually wound up in the right of way. So now they have two sets of actions that are going on. The right of way being requested to be vacated, which it would be broken into parcels. Part of it will go with the property owner, and part of it will go, I'm assuming, to the HOA. That's whether they turned over yet or not is what I don't know. And the second part, which we will have to bring back because there were a few pieces missing from their application, will be the vacation of a equivalent portion lengthwise of the 3.5 foot easement that is on the lot.
And just I think that the crux of this and why it happened is we required certain lots to have wraparound porches, spice lots. And this ended up being one of those that the spice lot was required with the wraparound porch, but the plat didn't show that. So this is just a corrective action to yet what we required of the building.
And you'll come back later and do the other side, right? Is that what you're saying?
We'll be bringing that back hopefully on the 27th. They are only missing a letter from Duke right now, I guess, for all their utility ones. I don't know what the holdup is for them.
Okay.
We also were missing the legal description. However, the day that I had to get these, or the day after had to get these two at least, I finally got the legal description for the easement. So it just did bad timing coming out. But staff is recommending approval. There is no detriment in vacating that portion of High Springs Lane. It technically, I guess, would reduce the ability to park for anybody who wanted to access the cemetery from that side. But there's still a lot of area left on High Springs Lane in that T area that if somebody pulled over to the side. That
And they did replace the asphalt on the HOA part of this. They replaced the asphalt with a sidewalk that will connect to the trail that goes through there.
Back up whether I included that in
Yeah, you can see where they've now put in a sidewalk and it connects to the trail, the trail that goes through there. So it still has some good pedestrian kind of amenity to it, even though we lost that little bit of driveway.
Okay. All right, any questions at the table? Okay, I need a motion, please.
Make the motion to accept ordinance 2020-18.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from our virtual listeners? All right. Okay, if there's no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. And the record shows that Sal has recused himself and the paperwork has been filled out.
Okay.
All right. We are down to town manager report.
All right. Take your time.
No, a lot of it
He's
was.
on vacation. He wants to get out of here.
A lot of it was the Healthy West Orange information. I did have a coffee with the manager last week. I think I had 5 or 6 attendees. A lot of good questions. Continue to try to let people know what's going on around town.
And we have, as we've advertised, we have some openings for volunteers on the Appearance Review Board and the Zoning and Planning Board vacancy and School Advisory Board.
Yeah.
And
So these are out till the 23rd. And we'll have a little bit of discussion at the next meeting as far as process that we want to go through as far as filling these vacancies.
Yep. I don't think that we'll have a discussion about how we, choose these folks. And not necessarily to steal Steve's thunder, but at the end of October, we will also be talking about standing up a committee for our upcoming waste contract. So he's got a plan on that one.
Yep.
That'll be coming. Because that's big money. And I think there's, a lot of things to consider in that,
Yeah.
on that subject.
Garbage is one of those core services that we provide, and I think everybody has an opinion on solid waste services. So
Oh,
it's definitely a good discussion to have. So
I've heard them all. I think that all the commissioners have heard. And, the state of recycling is changing, as quickly as, we just need to make sure that we're smart about what we do.
that's all I have, and I'll be on vacation for a few days. I'll be back on Thursday, the 22nd.
Hope you have a good time.
Yeah, I'll be out of town for a few days, and I'll be at home for a couple of days towards the end doing some house stuff. So.
Should we need to speak to anyone, are you designating someone?
Elise would be the one to talk to.
Okay,
She can.
lucky Elise.
I find stuff to complain about.
All right, is that it for staff reports, Parker? So mayor and commission reports. I think we're going to start with Joseph.
Okay. Just some updates from Tri-County. Tomorrow, you probably already registered, but tomorrow is the ethics training tomorrow. I think that comes from the Florida League. So that's on tomorrow. Tri-County Board, we're going to have, there's a meeting this coming Thursday, the regular meeting. And we have Sean Snake talking about the economy and COVID and things of that nature on this coming Thursday. We will also have a meeting in November, on November 19th, so you will see an announcement about that. We normally don't have one in November or December, but we're going to have one. And we're trying to get Scott Dudley, who works for the Florida League, to come and just talk to us about what's going on with the state as it relates to advocacy. Now, Scott Dudley has been with the league for a long time. He was his main role was he was like one of the lead lobbyists, or you can say staff for the league. But he has a new role where he's going to be really pushing advocacy all around the state. Along with that, that's Tony Ortiz, Commissioner Tony Ortiz platform, pushing advocacy. So with the citizens and with us, so you're going to see a lot of that coming from the Florida League and from Tony, trying to get more of us to be more involved with advocacy, or especially as relates on the state level, because there's so many state legislators that just push down all these unfunded mandates, and so you're going to see a lot of that going on. Before we have that November meeting, the board or the Tri-County is going to try to put together like a strategic plan to present, to try to have him, help us in the Tri-County area, with our lobbying effort and our advocacy efforts as well. The new year starts in January with a new leadership. Jeff out of Winter Springs is Jeff Kendrick is the new president coming in. And so normally when you have a new president for the Tri-County, you have the meeting at their location, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see if that's set for January 21st. So that may be a live or a hybrid meeting in Winter Springs, or we may not, maybe just completely hybrid. But just note that date, January 21st, is when the new leadership comes in for the Tri-County. But as of course, we got a couple of months. When we get closer to that date, we would know, where that will happen and how it will be delivered. And then we'll talk about, the year as far as what the Tri-County is looking for us to be a part of. But they're really pushing us to be more involved on the state level and on federal level. I think that was pretty, what else is there? That's pretty much it. So just look out for a lot of those meetings coming on board to talk about advocacy. So like I mentioned, November 19th is the next, this coming Thursday is the next Tri-County meeting, and then November 19th.
Well, and I would say that for a town our size, Joseph, you've been very involved with Tri-County and with the Florida League. And we make sure that we go to the conferences and that we visit Tallahassee and Washington every year. And I think that's very wise. So I think we'll, see us continue to do that and try and support those efforts.
Yeah, Tony and the actual Florida League, they're going to be pushing out a lot of messaging, trying to get the citizens more involved, to help them understand that really a lot, everything happens local. But there's some things that we get pushed down from the state that we have to kind of maneuver, and that's the reason a lot of us, like you just mentioned, we go up to the state. Of course, we're lobbying for our local town, but at the same time, we're also looking at some of the local issues that's going to impact us, because, we're all connected in some kind of way.
Yep. I agree. Anything else?
The National League, the Florida League has a legislative meeting on November 12th and 13th. That'll be virtual as well. It's going to be in Orlando, but it'll be a hybrid, virtual and and online. I may have to register for that because I'm on the Economic Development Committee, so I'll let Elise know about that. But I
Okay.
may have to register for that for November 12th and 13th. So they always have it. It's always here in Orlando, the legislative.
Isn't that usually out by the airport?
Well, they've been pushing it to Kissimmee the last few years, yeah, but it's been at the airport. But the last few years it has been in Kissimmee. But of course, it's gonna be hybrid. I'm not going live. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm going to
Oh, I
call
wouldn't.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think from what I'm hearing, it's probably about half and half going to go live and virtual.
Okay. Well,
That's it.
I think for at least another year, you're going to see
Yes.
virtual.
And that's the other thing with the Tri-County. We're trying to, take it month to month, whether we have live meetings. So they're trying to have January as the first live meeting, but we don't know. And so.
Yeah, and the chamber is not, I don't think they've made any kind of decision about going back to, we have a virtual meeting this Thursday. So
Yeah.
the board does. So the chamber is still doing everything virtually.
So
And I
that's
think-
the challenge.
Yeah, and I think they've done a good job of pivoting and being relevant to, the situation at hand as much as they can be. They really, really tried to help local businesses.
Right. And so that's what the both leagues, whether it's a Florida or Tri-County, trying to get more of us involved. So with the virtual piece, more and more people are logging in and trying to attend some of the meetings. And so it's going to be a big push to get us, to be involved and really, lobby our state, partners to help them to understand. We're in a good spot because our state partners, they understand, they work with us well. But it's when you start going around the state, it's not a pretty picture.
No, and is Tallahassee this year is January, isn't it?
No, it's
Session?
that was last year. It was January last year.
Was it January last year?
Almost certain it was January last year.
All
got me.
runs together.
I got a senior moment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, well, there were three of us there. We're just not sure when we were there.
During election years, it's usually January, and then on off years, it's March.
Yeah, I think we were there in March last year. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what session looks like.
Yes. Mhm.
Tallahassee, that's my point.
We were there in January, right before COVID.
We were?
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
January.
It wasn't that cold. I don't
No,
remember it
No,
being
no.
cold.
Mm-mm.
Didn't y'all come back sick?
No,
No.
no, that's you when you go off to,
yeah, it's lucky we didn't, because people were packed into that. chapel.
Yeah. No, Joseph's the one who took his life in his hands because he went to
Yeah.
March.
I was in
DC in
DC.
March.
Yeah, in March. Yeah.
That was March.
It was. Yeah, I got shut down in DC. Yes, that's when everything shut
Yeah.
down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Mhm. Sal?
I got some sad news
Oh,
with WPC, Winter Park Construction. I don't know if you guys are aware, or we just found out today, it happened yesterday, that one of the owner, Tracy Forrest, the founder, passed away. And I wanted to request to see if we could send a letter or a card. I mean, WPC has done so much in the
they did so much for Welcome
home at last.
Last.
And now, one of the owners, his younger brother, Jeff Forrest, is an Oaklander. He lives in Oakland. And just wanted
Say that again, Jeff's doing,
Jeff Forrest,
yeah. Who we know.
who we know, lives in Oakland now. He's an Oaklander. He lives in Longleaf. And
Jeff lives in Longleaf.
yes,
I didn't know that.
yes, he bought a house there last month or 3 weeks.
He's the real tall guy, right?
Yes. He was the one, the face
Yeah.
came. And,
Yep.
well, his older brother passed away yesterday.
Oh.
He had cancer in August and it went fast. And I wanted to, from our part, from Oakland, to send something.
We should.
They're here, they're part of our community now, and, they're mourning over there.
They were super generous.
They did every house.
Home at last, every one of them.
Every one of them. And
I think you're right.
Yep. And Jeff was at every
Yes.
groundbreaking, every dedication.
Do you have any information you could
yes,
send Elise?
send it over to Elise. I'll forward it to him.
And we'll get Lynn or Tuck to work on something that we can send.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Rick?
All I got is just a reminder, on the 24th, OMP has a pumpkin glow event for the kids.
Mhm.
But
And they're going to have kids out there, people out there.
Yeah.
Seen them advertising for the pumpkins.
They're gonna be doing
For bringing that up. They're gonna set it up in such a way where it's a one-way thing where you can go through and tour it, so you go in and come around so that everybody can keep their distance and stuff, but it sounds like a really cool event, so it's from 6 to 9, and I'm hoping to be out there myself.
She said Channel 13's doing a preview on Monday.
Yes. Yes.
Will there be multiple areas where there's pumpkins? Like every other?
They've got it set up on the trail, so they're gonna use part of a trail, and you'll walk through, and there'll be pumpkins along the trail. So I'm not exactly sure how she's setting it up, but they've got some good ideas with what they want.
pumpkin and then bags of candy, and
That's great.
then they're gonna have, just setting up some little lights,
They're gonna let people
Lights
vote on the
on what?
pumpkins.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's very successful. I like to have that carried all the way to the Arts and Heritage Museum.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And walk all the kids over here.
That's
That's
a lot of pumpkins. Yeah.
What date you say that was?
pretty cool.
24th.
4th?
Thank you.
Okay. I think Jennifer said today, anybody has inkling to donate pumpkins, feel free to bring them on down there to her.
Is she talking plastic pumpkins or real pumpkins?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
They're having the kids paint pumpkins, and then they're having carved pumpkins, so.
Okay. Okey dokey. Mikey?
Just a couple school facts for you on an update. We still have 0 COVID cases. They have been playing on an overabundance of caution with stuff. I think she sent it to us. We have a teacher that did get it over the weekend, but no kids were ever in contact with it. So to keep everybody safe, she is quarantining herself, the teacher. But so they've been doing a tremendous job of keeping themselves masked, distance, the whole 9 yards. This quarter that we just started, we ended up having 35 more kids gravitate into face-to-face learning.
Good.
Which leaves about 80 people learning at home. The hope is by the first of the year at the next semester to have everybody back to face-to-face learning. And that's kind of the goal. But of course, it's, like you said about the meetings, Joseph, is we don't know until we progress a little bit and see what the numbers do and how they spike and to get it. If we have to stay at home learning, we're not going to turn kids away. We're going to do that learning as long as we need to do it within reasonably possible. But the goal will be to try to get everybody back by right after Christmas time. So it's doing wonderful. Teachers, they're all pretty upbeat about the whole thing. They're all very grateful, of course, that they've got 0 cases at the school where a lot of schools hadn't. And it was brought to my attention today, and I didn't really realize it, that not many of these elementary schools are getting it, but it's mostly these high schools where the kids are a little bit more out of control.
Well-
So the younger kids are following direction and they know what to do. That's-
Well, it was funny because we just got a thing that Avalon Elementary, they're quarantining three grades, but it's like kindergarten, second, and something else. So there's a few here and there, but not like the high school. Yeah.
So things are going fairly well for them and people are gravitating back into school.
My granddaughter is, and is high school, and she's been out. I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Yeah. And she's been, and this is in Wisconsin, but she's been out for 24 days in 2 separate instances.
Wow.
When exposed. Well, so luckily she's never gotten
She's
it,
okay
but,
though, yeah, okay.
but still, I mean, and that's a Catholic high school. So I'm like, you need a break on your tuition.
Only you. That's all I have.
Amy, West Orange Observer, our influencer of the week. Did you guys see that? Is the teacher
Yeah.
that
The OA says that went to school there.
was the student
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
is the influencer of the week. So thank you very much for
That's a
that.
cool story.
Yeah, that's a
It
very
was a
cool
nice,
story.
very nice story. I saw it on Facebook. So,
That is just the coolest success story.
yes, and that,
Right.
she was first year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I can't believe all those kids are graduated from college,
Yeah.
you know? So it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
You're old.
I'm not as old as you are. So, all right. So anyway, thank you all very much for coming. And unless we have anything else we want to talk about.
Yeah, the legislative session starts March 2nd.
Oh, March 2nd. That's good.
Yeah.
That gives some time to,
Yeah,
hopefully,
yeah,
it'll be better then.
through April 30th. Yeah, but yeah, we went, it was January last year.
Yeah.
Like Steve said, we went up there early on because of that.
Yeah, well, and when I remembered that you were in DC in March, that made sense.
You'll be getting a lot more of these moments as you go along, you know.
I couldn't remember. He couldn't remember.
I couldn't remember, yeah, no, yeah.
None of us could.
I was talking to him.
I know. I know. All right. Nothing else?
I want to, I think I had the legislative days and, no, I don't have it. They were trying to figure out what the legislative days will be next year, but I don't have that listed yet.
Okay. Next time.
Yep, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So yes, if all hearts and minds are satisfied, let's adjourn. It is now 8:12 p.m.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Eric.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, I didn't get to say hi to you, Beth.
We want to get out of it. Be close.